Bet you won't never leave. I know it's hard to believe, but you got me on my knees. Let it up, too hot for me. Let it up, stop playing too hot for me.
Hello guys,
Baby, I just want you to be mine.
it's Peter from PS Sound, and well, at least now you can see where I would like to spend more time and edit more videos, show more stuff to you. So, in this video, I'm going to talk about a little bit about that Mercedes E63 build I had with the big Zapco amplifiers, audible physics front end, hybrid 8-inch mid bass, and the acoustic elegance 15-inch IB subs in the trunk. It was a good six weeks ago when I had to hand it over, and yeah, it was a very big job and slightly impossible to finish, considering what the clients wanted. He was going away on holiday in August, and he said, "Pete, I have 3 weeks away. I could easily leave the car with you." I was like, yeah, it's great, it's brilliant. 3 weeks should be enough. However, I'm also going to be away in August, and I was away because we got married with Mrs. So we had to squeeze the project into that short time in July, and I needed my friend's help, who helped a lot with the sound editing, wiring, and Lee from Platinum Inc. also popped in to help out with the mid-bass install. He supplied the hybrid audio drivers, which, yeah, they are fucking awesome in that application. And yeah, we did it, but it was super tight. The client turned up when we discussed on a Sunday, and yeah, I was doing 14-15 hours in the last 3 days. The car was tuned the night before it got picked up, but after 14-15 hours, you know, you're tired, and to put a bass tune on it, to be fair, it was still great. And you will see from the first shot I had with the client sitting in the car, after now I talk a little bit, that yeah, it sounded great. He was happy with it, but considering how quickly it was put together, roughly tuned, you know, the potential in that car is insane, and he's already very happy with it. To be fair, I would be happy with that car. Who wouldn't be happy with an E63 with that install? So yeah, we finished it, but I wouldn't like to have another install like that within that short time. Ideally, yeah, that install would have needed 5 weeks. Instead we had 3 weeks, and within 3 weeks we put in 31.5 or 30.5 days, I think I charged for the install. All three of us. I did more than 20 or 22 days. My friend did another 8 days, and only another 2. And this doesn't include all my overtime I had. Not to mention all the prepping, planning and everything. It was more than probably 3 weeks or a month till we went through everything with the client, what he wanted for that install, what was possible, and actually some of the things only turned out when we pulled the car to bits, and yeah, we had nightmare with the laser edged perspex. Then the struts holding the amp-rack were also funny. So we lost more than a day just sorting out the perspex in the boot and the struts. So that's why I'm always saying that, you know, you have to leave enough time for the install, because that's the key. If you screw something up on the install, you won't be able to tune it out. So yeah, definitely for a project like that you need lots of planning and yeah, super hard work. So in the next video, well, now I finished talking bullshit, and then you can have a little look about, you know, you can see what happened when we first sat in the car before he drove off with it, 1.5 months ago, and then hopefully I can see the car again. I don't think this month, but hopefully in October I can spend a day with it. We can have a decent tune, and hopefully I can also show more about the car, because when it left I had no chance to run through everything. I only posted a 1.5 minute kind of teaser, and I know it's not my style, but I promise that next time I see the car I'm gonna do tests. I'm gonna show you what the difference is when the rear seats are folded up or laying flat, how that affects the IB subs in the trunk, also how the tailgate affects the IB subs when it's open or shut. Obviously when you drive, yeah, it's shut, but when you listen to the system at home you can still keep the boot lid open, and then the subs perform very differently. But I'm gonna do tests, make a separate video just out of that, and then actually I can make another video in a few days time when I can show you what the difference was between the factory car and kind of before and after the sound treatment, sounding and sound proofing that we did, and it shows, yeah, quite a big difference. We measured the car when the client dropped it off. We took it out. I was sitting in the back with my laptop and the mic, and we put the mic to the passenger front seat headrest. So we measured the car doing 50 and 70 on public road, and then we measured it again when he left. Only took 10 minutes, quick measurement, and yeah, I'm going to show you in the next video how much the whole car and the road noise decreased. It's definitely way quieter. He noticed it straight away, first minute, that road noise wasn't that apparent, and hence you don't have to crank the system that much. You can keep it nice and quiet until you floor that beast, because then there's nothing you can do. 610 or 630 horsepower with that exhaust is an absolute monster. Well, I stopped talking about crap now. Have a look what happens when we first sat in the car and we listen to a bit of music. Okay, so let's run through quickly. So we have a three-way front end with the Audible Physics RG100 4-inch widebands, and the RG50 tweeters doing rather super tweeter duties, only playing above 12k, because the RG100s could play actually tweeterless. They play very, very nicely. It's just I find it way easier to add the tweeter that high, and it just does that top end effortlessly. You don't have to boost EQ or anything. It's so detailed, it's unreal. Then down there, I don't know whether you can see, no, probably not, you have to check my other videos. There's a hybrid audio L8 SE dust cap version in the firewall, because this car comes with an 8-inch factory mid-bass driver in the firewall by factory, and we utilize that location, which is actually a great location. But even in my first video I explained that you can't really expect great lower mid-range response from the driver from down there, especially on passenger side. The driver is under a 3-4 inch thick foam and the floor carpet and everything, so that works like a filter, like a low pass filter. That's why we needed the 4-inch drivers up on the pillar so they can play low. They actually they are not big bulky builds, so they don't play as low as in some other builds I've done, but they are functional from 180 Hz, and that was more than good enough for us, because the L8 SEs can play up to 200 Hz clean without major issues. So it was easy to integrate the 8-inch drivers to the 4-inch widebands. Our source is not quite finalized yet at the moment. We've got the Helix DSP Pro and the director controller down there, and we use a digital audio player, this FIO or FIO or however you pronounce it, running on digital coax. As you see, that plug is a digital output. It runs to the processor, and this way there's no digital to analog conversion twice. It's just, you know, the conversion happens in the DSP, sends the signals to the amps, which are the Zapco Z400.2. Well, 4 of them, 4 huge monster amps for the setup. Many people found it, you know, a bit overkill, but my client, who's sitting right next to me, but doesn't want to talk. You can laugh loud. He comes from an era where, you know, headroom was a main factor, shall we say? We can say that, and he didn't want any compromise on that. So yes, we have a crazy amount of power behind the drivers, but then this way the amps never struggle. You never hear a single distortion coming from the amps. And then in the back, we've got 2 Acoustic Elegance 15-inch subs using the airspace in the boot, and that's what you see when the seats are dropped down. Quite a pretty view. And yeah, at the end, well, shortly, because the mounting is getting dry at the moment, we 3D printed a bracket for the player it's going to sit in, and then there's you can't see it, but there's a bracket stuck up to this panel. So once the other side of the bracket is finished, it's gonna lock in and sit there. So it's gonna be nice and comfortable to change tracks, see the display, and then the director is right under it to change the volume and separate sub volume. It also shows you voltage, just to make sure that, you know, you never run low on, and the voltage is gonna come back soon. I'll show it later. But yeah, I think we can say that we are happy with the setup. I haven't had much time to tune it because this whole project was a bit mental to take it on and do it in 3 weeks. Some other people, you know, spend months on builds like this. Some others in America spend 2 years on projects, and all this had to happen in 3 weeks. Well, I had a few of my friends helping. One of my friends helped with sound deadening, pulling the wires in, anything that can be done with wiring. I did most of the fabrication, and Lee from Platinum in Car helped out with the mid-bass install. And I'm so grateful for that, because otherwise it wouldn't have happened on time. So overall, this is gonna be an absolute monster one day. Well, I mean, it's already way beyond most of the setups I've heard, but there's still way more potential in it. Well, let's finish the video now. Let me know what you think, guys. Feel free to comment, share the video, and hopefully we speak soon. Take care.